Flo Vilmano here with the papers. They're focusing today on mixed messages coming from the government. This is about tax, isn't it, Flo?
That's right. It seems like the President, François Hollande, and his Prime Minister Jean-Marc Ayrault aren't on the same page. In fact, Le Figaro says that they're singing out of tune. They're out of key, according to Le Figaro. Why is this? Well, François Hollande insisted that 2014 would be a tax-free year. The government was going to hit the pause button on taxes. But then his Prime Minister has said, no. 2014 is actually going to be a slowdown in taxes, and the pause is going to come in 2015. So they're not at all on the same page. And as you can imagine, the opposition is rubbing its hands over this discord in semantics.
This seems to happen almost every day. The right are saying that, but the left-leaning press also kind of digging in on this one, aren't they?
That's right. They're very critical as well. In fact, Libération likens the government to a bunch of amateurs, and you see on the front page here, les apprentis récidives, so basically the apprentices are striking back again. And Libération points out this isn't the first time that Hollande and Ayrault haven't been on the same page. They've also sent mixed messages about the government's environmental policy as well as the pension reform and now taxes. And Libération says this was okay in the early days, just after the election. This was a normal part of the learning curve, but now it's been 16 months since the election, and this is totally unacceptable.
Now, L'Opinion, they're looking at who is going to be paying taxes, aren't they?
That's right, because not only are taxes going to increase, but L'Opinion points out more and more people are actually going to pay taxes. 1.2 million additional households, according to L'Opinion, and especially people from the working class. And L'Opinion says this couldn't come at a worse time because for the first time in 30 years, purchasing power has decreased while unemployment has increased. So quite the perfect storm, and L'Opinion says that there could be some sort of a tax overdose and people will be completely fed up with the situation.
Now, the government also coming under fire here from the far left. This is for the pension reforms that it laid out yesterday.
That's right. L'Humanité, the communist newspaper, says it's not over until it's over. Basically, the far left feels like this pension reform is unfair for workers and has vowed to continue fighting against the pension reform until it's actually voted in Parliament. And as we can see on the front page of L'Humanité, a lot of trade unions have actually vowed to carry out protests in early October.
Now, you pulled out a piece from Le Figaro, haven't you? This is about somebody who's trying to kind of stay in the spotlight, rather. Nicolas Sarkozy.
Nicolas Sarkozy. He's keeping very busy, and he's trying to make sure we don't forget about him. And how could we forget about him? He's everywhere. Oh, and yesterday he was in the Alps, actually, visiting a small town there. And Le Figaro points out that he, took the opportunity to make this into kind of an unofficial press conference. The equivalent of writing a postcard, basically, saying, "Yoo-hoo, I'm still here," says Le Figaro. Now, this comes at a time when there are very strong divisions within the opposition UMP, and basically Le Figaro says that this is a way for him to show that he's above the pack and also to, fuel rumors that he might be staging his political comeback.
Going to go to Libération now. This is an interview with the self-proclaimed president of the Central African Republic.
That's right, Michel Djotodia. He has been president since March following a coup d'etat against François Bozizé. Now, he's been pretty media shy up until now, and in fact, this is his first interview in the French written press. And Libération points out that his rebellion coalition has been accused of perpetrating violence against civilians. Now, in this interview, he claims that the time of impunity is over, and he vows to focus on the country's two main challenges, which are a security and a humanitarian crisis. And he also says he's not attached to power and has vowed in this interview not to run for president when elections are eventually held in the months to come.
And I knew we'd be talking about this at this time here on France 24. Perhaps the image of this week's news, the French press focusing on a parliament move to ban mini-miss pageants.
That's right. This is the Senate, so the upper house of Parliament, has moved to ban these children beauty pageants. Now, this is part of a wider law for gender equality. Now, French senators are saying by this ban that they want to halt the hypersexualization of young girls. And so basically, anybody who organizes these mini-miss pageants now faces a €30,000 fine and 2 years in jail. So that's a very big ban there. Probably not worth it. Now, this still has to be passed in the National Assembly in Parliament for it to actually become a law. But Le Parisien points out that, well, mini misses and their parents actually are really upset about this. And they say there's nothing wrong with these beauty pageants. But as you can see, French senators have quite a different opinion there.
I've got 3 daughters at home. Do you think we're allowed to have one within the confines of our own home?
Well, that might be different, Stuart. You'd have to call the government for that one. Steve.
Yeah. Okay, thanks a lot, Flo. Flo Wilmonet with the French papers here on France 24. Coming up, we'll have all the latest, of course, from Egypt. We've been hearing that a police officer has been shot dead in an operation on the outskirts of Cairo. The latest on that coming up. And also in focus today, we're going to be talking about the Costa Concordia. Today, France 24 speaking to those who've been living next to the wreck now for 18 months. Focus reports later on how their lives have been affected. In the next half hour here on France 24. Stay with us.